What's going on, guys, and welcome back to Top 5 Scary Videos. Whether it's punching heads off or turning you into a literal cockroach, our horror movie monsters that we all grew up afraid of have a pretty high kill count. Growing up watching these franchises was basically just a big what not to do lesson when it comes to serial killers. So which slasher slash monster has the highest count, you ask? Well, I'm Taylor McWatters. Let's find out. But before we get to our list today, we have a quick message from our sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends. Badass champions? Check. Tough bosses? Of course. Millions of players? You bet. Raid Shadow Legends has it all. Caught in the middle of an epic struggle that's raged for thousands of years, you'll fight noble kings and dark wizards. And it's available for both mobile or PC, which are two things I didn't have growing up, so must be nice. Here we have a few champions getting in the holiday spirit. We have Frostbringer, Rain Beast, and of course, Sir Nicholas. The commitment to gameplay here is stunning. From the voiceovers to the exciting cutscenes, it truly makes it stand out from any other mobile game that I've played. The fact that this game is free just blows my mind. And this month, Raid just released their biggest ever update. The main event here is, of course, the Doom Tower. It's a giant tower with 120 floors, a bunch of secret challenge rooms, and 12 seriously badass bosses to take on. On top of that, they're also releasing 14 awesome new champions just in time for the holidays, along with a whole host of holiday events and tournaments. And here's the best part. The Raid team are giving away a bunch of new free goodies, plus a super special champion to help get everybody started in the tower, Bulwark. He's absolutely awesome in Clan Boss, and he's also going to be a huge help in the tower against these bosses. So if you want to get a huge head start in Raid, all you have to do is hit the link in the description, and if you are a new player, you'll get your free Void champion, Bulwark, 50 gems, an experience booster, an XP booster, some energy refills, and even an ancient shard as soon as you get in game. And all this treasure will be waiting for you right here. Rewards will be available only for the next 30 days and only for new players. See you there. Kicking off the list at number 5, Pinhead. The Hellraiser franchise kicked off in 1987 with our main man Pinhead being introduced as one of these leaders of the Cenobites, how he describes as explorers in the future regions of experience. It's like some interstellar shit right there. Demons to some, angels to others. Pinhead originally made his first appearance in Clive Barker's novella, The Hellbound Heart, back in 1986. Barker also directed the first film, where we see Pinhead unleash his unholy ways. So throughout the 10 films of this chaos, we see lots of horrible deaths. A lot of chains too. I mean, the amount of steelwork that goes into these killings is truly impressive. Yeah, so either hooks will fly into your face or maybe you'll get absolutely wrecked by a handful of compact discs. Yeah, there's a lot of deaths in this franchise with a grand number of 35 souls. And more on the way, of course, with another reboot in the works, which have been in the works for quite some time now. I don't even have a watch, and I know it's been in the works for quite some time. So we have to include him on the list at number 5. And number 4, we have, of course, Chucky. Look, growing up, I always wondered how a doll could kill so many people. I mean, sure, there's a serial killer's soul inside there, but like, you're wearing overalls. He's wearing overalls, you know? His shoes are like the size of Christmas ornaments. He began his reign of terror back in 1988 with Child's Play. Charles Lee Ray was most commonly known as the Lakeshore Strangler. Classic. Until he decided to use voodoo to transfer his broken soul into a good guy doll, which in the most recent installment is called a buddy doll. So when you have a full-strength adult just chilling in a doll's body, well, some horrible murders are bound to happen. I mean, this guy kills a lot. He even gets married at one point, and then he has a kid, and then they kill. It's like a whole killing family. It's not pleasant. He's very comfortable in this new life. So while some deaths are just laughable, there's still a lot to add up here. So in the 8 movies we currently have, Chucky kills a grand total of around 38 people, right? And they get really creative when they do these movies. I mean, one movie he's ripping lip piercings out and then smothering people, and then he's dragging dudes named Shane into a snowblower with Christmas lights around his neck. And it's not even that he's strong or forceful, he plays the long game. He knows how to really ham it up. He's one of my favorites to watch on the screen, that creepy little fucker. Number 3, The Invisible Man. Beginning back in 1933 with Claude Rains as Dr. Jack Griffin, aka the Invisible Man, we see a pretty wild sequence where he straight up derails a train. So yeah, it's kind of hard not to put him in this list. I mean, he's going on a rampage here to cause chaos to the country. He's like the Joker, except invisible. So worse. I guess he's the worst thing imaginable. Yeah. The reboot was actually quite fun as well. Yeah, Elizabeth Moss stole the show. I mean, she's so fun to watch in this new reboot, and technology has come a long way, of course, in the special effects that make these films, but also in the plot. So it's cool to see a character like that, like the Invisible Man, grow and expand their killer horizons. I mean, sometimes you go a little bit too far, like perhaps, you know, sending off our main killer to space, but I'll get into that later on. But the Invisible Man easily takes a spot on our list. I mean, look how haunting he is. Number 2, Michael Myers. Spanning over 7 films in total with more on the way, as Jamie Lee Curtis is set to return and reprise her iconic role of Laurie Strode in 2 more installments. So this list could change in a couple years' time, with Michael Myers looking to up that kill-death ratio. So making his origin in the first Halloween movie back in 1978, Michael Myers began his killing days at a very young age. He was only 6 when he decided to kill his teenage sister on Halloween night. And when he escaped from Smith's Grove Sanitarium, it just got even worse. Yeah, it turns out being locked up for 15 years doesn't change some people at all. In fact, it just makes them worse. So he returned to Haddonfield, Illinois, and began stalking a young Laurie Strode, while of course killing off her friends in the meantime. Luckily, Sam Loomis saves the day. See, Sam is Michael's psychiatrist, and luckily he's around to shoot Michael, bam, 6 times, and then his body falls off a balcony and he's assumed dead. Because of course, he got shot 6 times and then fell. But the body is gone. And cue the sequel. Well, sequels, I should say. Yeah, Michael is a big name in the slasher game, and it's no surprise there's more movies in the works. He's so much fun to watch. So just how many people has Michael killed? I mean, the Rob Zombie remakes plus the new installments make it a pretty high number of souls. So all in all, we have a total of 133 people. That's a lot of deaths. That's a lot of awful deaths. A lot of knives being used. And of course, more on the way. He will for sure pass Jason Voorhees. Huh, I feel like that death sounded really familiar for some reason. And finally, number 1, you guessed it, because I just mentioned him, Jason Voorhees. They said he died as a boy, but he keeps coming back. Few have seen him and lived. Some have even tried to stop him. No one can. People forget that he's down there waiting. Ah yes, the Friday the 13th is one of, if not the most popular of the slasher franchises. Maybe it's because sometimes it's the scariest movie ever with a terrifying way to kill somebody. Or maybe it's the same thing but just a dumbed down version that we all loved. Either way, he's made quite an impact on us in our childhood. So we begin at the lovely Camp Crystal Lake. It's the perfect getaway, where a young Jason joins his mother Pamela, who is a cook at this camp. Yeah, they couldn't find a babysitter and they couldn't afford anyone to look out for him, so he went along. Not a bad idea at all. Now, Jason was born with hydrocephalus, so his head was bigger than normal, and this made the other kids want to be dicks and make fun of him. And Jason couldn't swim as a child either. So when the other campers got a hold of Jason, they decided, let's just throw him in the water. And then he, of course, drowned, and the counselors, they didn't help at all. Yeah, solid group of future leaders, just making out and listening to Motley Crue instead of helping a drowning child. So after the body wasn't found and charges were not pressed, Pamela was, of course, very upset. So she went back and got her revenge, which is wild about this list because Jason himself didn't kill anybody in 2 of these installments, right? So Pamela killed 9 people in a movie, then this guy named Roy killed about 17 in one of the sequels. But there are still enough sequels where Jason found his groove. Even going to space in 2001 with Jason X, where he kills about 21 people. An exploding space station is way cooler than crashing a train, I mean, in my opinion. Also, the guy turns a girl's head into frozen strawberries with liquid nitrogen. You don't want to mess with Space Jace, that's for sure. So with all these killings at Crystal Lake, Manhattan, at one point he goes to hell, and then even space. I mean, there's a grand number of souls that this guy is taking, and it's around 160. So he's not to be messed with. Easily a number 1 spot. Easily. Well guys, there you have it. Now before we finish up here, I have to leave you with this. With all of these horror movie monsters dying and then coming back to life, do you think you personally could escape any of them? I've always thought Chucky was a manageable situation. I never understood how he gets away with that much when steel-toe boots exist. You know what I'm saying? Thank you so much for watching. You guys are the best. We hope that you have a safe and happy new year. I'm Taylor McWatters, you're you, and we'll catch you on the next one. Peace. What's the other one? It's the Scranton Strangler from Office. Charles Lee Ray was commonly known as the, I'm not even gonna, the Scranton Strangler. Some Office shit, whatever. I'll throw that joke in the next one.